Hey, Alonzo.
Hey, what's up?
Over here, right here.
Hey,
How you doing?
Oh, good.
Good. Good to hear. How did this all come together? This was like a late addition to the card. When did you find out? Because I know you were scheduled for another fight. They moved you back to Seattle. Take me through the process of getting this fight.
Yeah, the opponent I had in London, he hurt his leg, so I had no fight. And yeah, I think they wanted to extend it out 5 more weeks. So that would have been like 10 weeks of me like just waiting. And this opportunity came out of nowhere, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And,
Okay. Did you know anything about Julius before taking this fight, or it didn't matter the opponent? You're just like, I want to compete.
Yeah, I was like, I'm ready, because I've been training since September. Because y'all don't know, but I had a cast from the last fight, because I kind of broke my hand.
For sure.
So like after that, it came off. I've just been training. So he had me wait until March, and this opportunity came. I was like, hell yeah, I'll take it. So
That's good.
Yeah, here I am.
Now that you've had a chance to kind of look up Julius a bit, how do you feel like stylistically you match up against him here?
Yeah, I feel like he's similar to the opponent that I was going to fight in London. What's his name? Omar? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's similar to him in a way. Just maybe he's a little more flashier. We'll see.
Yeah. To remind you of you a little bit, just earlier in your career, a couple fights, you know, obviously getting in the UFC. I think you had actually more fights than he did leading into the UFC, but, you know, young guy looking to make a name for himself. Like, do you like the challenge of kind of stopping a guy that's, you know, got a bit of, I wouldn't say hype, but he's a young guy looking to make a name off you? Yeah,
definitely. I think this is an exciting fight as far as this opportunity for both of us. For him especially, right? He's a young guy coming to, like, you know, make a statement, and I look forward to just shutting that all down, like, really.
What did camp look like leading into this? I know you're always training, but who have you worked with? Who's helped you get ready for this fight?
Oh, yeah, I've been at Fortis.
Oh, you went back. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I traveled around. I went to everywhere, and then I was in a training facility. I'm not going to name the name, but I was in this big old gym, and I realized, man, they do this at Fortis. They grind hard like this. So I was like, why won't I just go home, be with my family, and train? So I'm back at Fortis. Appreciate the Fortis.
How did that conversation go? Because I know you were there previously. Did you reach out to Safe and you're like, you know, can we you know, come back? Like, take me through that process.
Yeah, me and Safe, we always been good. I never left on bad terms. I just told him I need to expand, and that's what I did. Just traveling around, realizing, you know, what I can add to me. But it wasn't anything like sour. So I was able to go back home, no problem.
Who did you get to work with over there at Fortis?
Oh, Ryan, and you know, all of the Fortis young, hungry dogs. Yeah, so Ryan Span for sure, though, a lot.
And just last one, are you no longer working with Pat Barry anymore?
No, I love Pat, and I work with him. You know, he trained Rose, and we having a conflict in schedules. Okay. But me and Pat, that's my road dog.
Is he going to be in your corner this weekend?
No, he's not.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately.
Cool.
With Ryan and Kennedy going up to heavyweight, are you going to go up to heavyweight anytime soon?
I mean, I think they're trying to get me to go to middleweight. But I don't mind. I'll try it. I mean, my first fight was at heavyweight, so why not, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on.
What's it like for you getting to be back home? Obviously, you were doing camps elsewhere after you left Fortis for a little bit. How big has it been for you just mentally to be at home throughout all of camp, around your family, around your kids, in that comfortable, familiar setting?
Yeah, it's been a blessing because I remember that 2 years of just being in Colorado, just being uncomfortable, traveling from Colorado to Florida, just always uncomfortable. And I know they said, you know, just uncomfortable is what you need to grow. But, you know, just to be uncomfortable and, like, at Fortis and developing only my skills and then, like, just focusing on becoming a better martial art, a fighter overall, just, and being in the presence of my family. Like, it's been a blessing, like, for real.
What was it like having that little bit of an aha moment at the unnamed facility of going like, man, this is what we were doing at home. Why would I leave home?
Yeah, it was crazy because I think I was in pain. I hurt myself, and then I realized, man, we're grinding here, and we're at this facility, and it's like no one really cares about you over here. And I'm like, oh crap, like I can do this at home, and at least I got my wife, my kids, and you know my coach, who made it personal. Saif made it personal to try to look after you. So,
You
blessed.
have obviously an experience advantage over Julius this weekend. He's making his debut. You've been here a number of times. How do you leverage that experience against a young fighter? Do you think back to your debut and what it was like for you and kind of
Oh,
look to put him through some of the things maybe you struggled with?
Yeah, right. So, cause I know the hype and just coming out and feeling like you gotta live up to this, I guess, name or responsibility for him. And in me, when I think about me coming out, I was like, it was all just go. And I know I've been having a problem with like just go, but I realized to settle down. So maybe I'll teach him that. Maybe I'll be able to settle him down. Who knows?
So I assume then that we have to find that balance between settle down and go this weekend to get things moving in the right direction.
Exactly. So just wherever the fight goes, I'll be as smart as I can, and yeah, we'll go from there.
And then the last one for me is just, are you looking forward to having Safe back in your corner this weekend and getting those marching orders from the general?
Yeah, well, without a doubt, man. Saeed is his coaching style is more graceful. So I wouldn't even call him the general. I would just call him a friend. And yeah, so I'm happy to have him in there.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, if you do end up making that transition to middleweight or heavyweight, are there any names at either weight class that interest you, excite you at all?
Man, I'll call him out, but obviously, I got to get some W's first.
Of course.
All right, right on.
And there's right before you on the card, a light heavyweight fight between Ibo Aslan and Kutalaba. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great fight. Cooper Lape and what was the other guy's name?
It's the Turkish guy, Ibo Aslan.
Yeah, he's a fighter, man. He's a dog. I watched a few of him. But yeah, let's go. Let's go for both of them.
Thanks.
Right on. All right, cool, man.
Brendan, how are you enjoying Seattle so far?
It's cold as a witch's titty here. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's all right though. I mean, it feels like London weather, but it's cool. It's all right.
You were at the Seahawks facility yesterday.
Yeah, that was super cool. Super cool.
How'd you enjoy your time over there?
I enjoyed it a lot. I should have stayed playing football rather than fighting. Make a lot more money and it's fun.
I saw that you could throw the football, and you got a good spiral.
Some days. It's been a long time since I worked at that sport, but I still enjoy it.
You chopped the hair off. Was there a decision to do that?
I just like something new. I wanted to do it like 2 fights ago, but Crybaby back there wouldn't let me. So, yeah, I just like to change every now and then. I just like something new, and sometimes I just try something wild. Sometimes I don't. I don't know. I just like new things. Change it up.
What went wrong in your last fight? Now that you've had obviously a lot of time to kind of analyze it and break it down.
I lost. I mean, before I say anything, no matter what, every decision was my own, which is why I like this sport. I take ownership for everything that I did. It's nobody else's fault. But my body just wasn't 100%. I knew that going in, but I didn't think it would be so effective as it was, and I had problems the whole camp. But I don't know how to pull from a fight. I just feel like I'm a little bit of a bitch if I do. So even with like proof that like I'm not good, no matter what. So yeah, I think that was just the biggest thing. I mean, the commission didn't help, but at the end of the day, I lost the fight. I think on perception, at probably 60% healthy and in his hometown, and now he's the #1 guy in our division. So I know I'm better than him. I know I am. He fought his best that night, and I fought probably the worst that I fought in the UFC. But, you know, it is what it is. I learned from it, and I'll be back stronger on Saturday, and I'll see him again at some point. We're 2 of the youngest guys in the division, so in the top 15 especially. So I think he's earned a title shot, in my opinion. But hopefully I see him again, and hopefully it's for the belt or somewhere around there.
In hindsight, do you regret not pulling out just because of the run you were on and all of the momentum that you had behind you?
Yeah, I think so. I can't change it now. But there's probably been 3 fights in the UFC that I should have pulled from. 2 I lost and 1 I won, just from not being healthy. And yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. I think I was so close to, fighting for that belt. And I don't know. I look back and like that, and I also think it's funny, like, when I lose, everyone's got something to say, but when I win, everyone's silent as a mouse. So that kind of makes me laugh, and it lets me know, like, that I'm still there. Like, nobody says nothing to me or about me until I lose, but when I'm winning, it's hush.
And like you said, he's the #1 ranked now. He went out there and beat Izzy. Like, were you impressed with that?
I mean, I look at it as every fight. Like, I've knocked guys out, too. A knockout's kind of like luck, It's a little bit of precision, but it's more luck than anything. But if I tap you, 90% I outsmarted you and I got you. So and that may be the reason why I like submitting people more. But I thought he lost the first round pretty clear, but I thought the punch was nice. I feel exactly how I felt when he fought Cannonier. To me the finish was kind of the same thing, but it was still nice, and nothing that he did wrong. He did good. So hats off to him.
And do you think because of your last fight, you're being overlooked in this fight with Fluffy, with you being I think it's like a 2-1 underdog, and people just kind of counting you out?
I don't know. I feel like people always do that anyway and look for a reason. I don't know. I feel like I'm a guy, you either like me or you hate me. There's no in between. And so for some reason, people hate me more than they like me, but that's fine. I just like to be left alone. I like to be with my wife and my kids and my close friends because my circle's super small. So, yeah, I don't care. Overlook me, do what you want. I don't care. My money stays the same no matter what. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to beat up Anthony and move on to the next step. It's nothing different.
Obviously, the big storyline in this fight is you guys fought back in 2018. And obviously, you guys have grown a lot from that fight. But I guess, now looking at him now, like, is there any similarities you see, or do you see him as a completely different fighter?
Me personally, I see him as the same guy, just a little bit more, well, a good bit more refined and more polished. But he still does the same things. He still focuses on his cardio. He's still to me the same guy. And I was so young and immature then mentally. I'm a completely different guy, and I fought like shit that night. I was just basically like a moving dummy. I didn't really do that. I rocked him in the first, and then he said I hurt him again in the fourth or the third. I don't even know, but I didn't really do nothing other than that. I just was like, I'm ready to go home. I don't want to be here. So, but you're not gonna finish me. It was just immaturity.
Obviously, everyone kind of knows his game plan. He's going to come and try and drown you, wrestle you. So was that a lot of focus on in training camp this time? Was just wrestling, takedown defense, or I guess do you welcome being on your back because of your elite BJJ?
I just want to create damage in this one. I want to get back to my old self. Like I have these like roller coasters of do damage or hold position, do damage, hold position. And for me this time it's I just want to create damage. So no, I plan to make him work as well. Like he's good at creating these situations to where he doesn't put a lot of effort into it, but he makes his opponent put a lot of effort into it. Like being on the cage, he wants you to spaz. He wants you to use all the strength. So we'll see. But it's going to take – he's going to have to eat some punches to get in there. And I know he's tough, but I don't know. It only takes one clean one to do anything. So 15 minutes is a long time to have to evade a good punch. So we'll see what he brings to the table. But obviously we know he's coming from bell to bell. And we'll see how successful he is on Saturday at that.
Last two for me. How do you get your hand raised on Saturday?
Be myself. Being Brendan Allen, when I'm on. So it's just being the best me that I can be. If the best me shows up, I'm the best fighter in the world at middleweight. So I just need to be the best me.
And a lot of middleweight fights taking place. What were your thoughts on the championship fight between DDP and Sean Strickland?
I don't know. Somehow Driscoll's just gets it done, man. I said this in an interview before. It's like if you look at his resume on paper, you're like, fuck, man, this guy's a stud. But like if you really look at it and watch the fights, he fights these guys that have such a great name. But look at the timeline that he fights them. Like he's fighting them like kind of when they're not really motivated or on their way out, or just Father Time's getting them. For whatever the case may be, like you see, for instance, you see Izzy on someone's resume, and you're like, you think of the Izzy at his top, and you're like, wow, he beat this guy, and it's like, you watch the fight, and you're like, this ain't the Izzy that fought like Paulo Costa or anything like that. Like this ain't the same guy. So I just think he gets them at the best times, the best names at the best times, and is what it is.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Brandon, over here. Congratulations on the birth of your son in late December. How is it having another boy in the house now?
It's nice. I'm not super outnumbered. I have my stepson and my wife's son. So, and then now we have our son, which he's sleeping in the back. But it's nice. It's it's just as of now he's just an infant, so nothing really changes too much. But my wife does an amazing job taking care of him while I'm in camp, and yeah, it's been great. It's been great having them.
When you think about, when he gets a little bit older, and obviously, you obviously share this with your family and your kids, what do you think about when you say, hey, Dad was a fighter, and maybe starting to show him those clips and videos of you fighting one day?
Man, to be honest, I like to just share these experiences with my kids. Like, this will be the last one that my youngest daughter doesn't attend. My oldest daughter will attend, and I can't wait for her to get here. I just like sharing these moments with my wife, with my kids, with my family, my friends. It's more important than the outcome, because it doesn't matter how good you are, how bad you are. Like, if you get here and get to experience this, like, not many people get to do it. There's so many people that wish they could. So to be at the level that I'm currently at and have been at is like, it's super cool. So I don't really care too much of like, oh, dad was a fighter. I'm more just trying to create the memories and share the experiences with everyone, because I'd rather just be the best dad rather than the best fighter.
It's a small exclusive club in the UFC of the fighters who get to have the custom or the different color shorts. What does it mean to you to be part of that small group that UFC said, you know what, Brendan Allen puts in work, we're giving him the purple ones?
I mean, it's super cool. I wasn't the first one to get them, even though I asked for them the most. But hopefully, if UFC goes to Louisiana this summer and I get past Fluffy like I expect to, that we'll get a real custom pair to unveil in New Orleans.
Final question. Do you feel like at ceremonial weigh-ins you rock your fuzzy hat better than Shafkat does?
Nah, you can't, man. He's the originator, you know? He's the OG, so no one's like Shafkat. Plus his tail on his is like super nice. He got like a fox or something on his. His is nice.
Thank you.
Brendan, how good of an alibi is Gerald Mearshart?
He's a G. He's a G, man. Yeah, he's my guy. I've known him forever. I love Gerald. He's such a great guy.
And then, what did you think of the Super Bowl performance? Do you think it should have been Lil Wayne instead of Kendrick?
Yeah, for sure. You can't go to New Orleans and not put Lil Wayne in there. But you know it is. That stuff's probably as political as everything else.
And then, top 5 artists on your rotation right now.
Damn, you're gonna put me on the spot. Obviously Kevin Gates. It's been off, but Frito Bang for sure. You're gonna make me pull my phone. Frito Bang, Moneybag Yo, and I've been mixing in country on Fight Week. So Kane Brown and Boosie. I like Boosie. I like old Boosie.
What do you think about this new Big X collab that's coming out soon?
With who?
Oh my God, it's a country artist.
Oh yeah, I saw some of that. I heard one the other day. It was all right.
Yeah.
He's kind of versatile with his voice, but he did good with his lyrics on the one that I heard, so it was pretty good.
So you've got a win over Paul Craig, one of the best grapplers in the UFC. That makes you one of the best grapplers in the UFC, I'd say. And Anthony's also up there. Do you think that this fight is going to end up on the ground, or do you think that kind of cancels it out and it becomes a kickboxing match?
No, I think it'll end up on the ground at some point. I think it'll definitely end up on the ground at some point. You know, he's not going to stop trying to take me down unless he's tired. You know, and we'll see. We'll see. But I'm not shying away from it, but I just want to do damage and put a show on for all the fans that come out here. That's really what I'm looking for this fight. I want to get back to myself, do damage, and put a show on for all the fans that come out to see us.
And who do you think's shooting that first takedown?
Him, for sure. It's definitely not going to be me. I never come to a fight to shoot except for the last one. Usually it just happens or transpires, and, you know, it is what it is. Like, but I don't come looking to shoot except for the last one and see how that happens. So, yeah, I'm not coming to shoot, but I'm sure one will transpire at some point.
Thanks.
Of course.
seen the match.
Notice the traffic.
You only have 197 days. Thank God.
Se aproxime.
Tá bonito.
Got your buttons all done up? You good to go?
Tá pronto? Botado? Fala back. I'm useless, I guess.
There we go. It's good to see you back. Obviously, we're really excited for this fight. How did this fight come together with you fighting Melsick?
Bom ver você novamente, empolgados. Como é que essa luta aconteceu? Como é que, de repente, apareceu o Melsick na tua frente?
Bom ver você também. Cara, foram um bom trabalho aí com a minha equipe, com o meu empresário, para a gente achar uma luta adequada com o que eu venho recebendo de valores do UFC, né? Para a gente ter uma negociação justa, ter uma luta justa, algo que valesse a pena.
Nice to see you too. And this was a good negotiation that we did, myself and my manager, with the UFC to find a fight that was, I feel, fair and adequate, and along with it goes along with all the worth that I put in and what I worth for the company and everything that we've discussed with the UFC. I figured it was a fair fight, a fair deal, and I thought we reached something.
And your last fight was at 155. You're coming back to featherweight. I think people are wanting to ask, how's the weight going this time with the weight cut? Because I know last time against Jourdain, you didn't make the mark.
Da última vez você viu você 155, agora está voltando a pena, e agora como é que está o peso, como é que está essa situação, porque a gente sabe do que aconteceu na luta contra o Charles Jourdain na hora de cortar o peso.
O peso está muito bom. Acredito que a gente aprende com o sucesso, né? E teve esse erro do peso, mas eu não gosto muito de aprender com erro não, porque senão vou viver errando e ficar preso a um erro. Então, com o sucesso daquela luta, com o sucesso do Drew Dober, sentamos, conversamos e 145 libras é o meu lugar.
I think it was great to learn from success. There were mistakes that were made, and obviously I didn't make it at that time, but you can learn from mistakes, but I don't want to learn from mistakes because you can spend your entire life making mistakes to learn. So I think looking at a success history, meaning a success story, the fight against Drew Dober was my base for that, and I think everything worked out for that, so that we're going with it. 145 is my place.
You had a great year last year. A lot of fans already see you as a future champion in the division. How do you deal with those expectations where people, set the bar very high for you in your career so early?
Tem sido uma jornada rápida e muito, muito, muito boa, e as pessoas já olham para você como um cara assim, que é um futuro campeão. Né? Como é que é lidar com o fato de que você veio com tudo, em tão pouco tempo tudo aconteceu?
Antes, obrigado por você também me ver como futuro campeão. Cara, na verdade, não aconteceu muito rápido, não, né? Só de casado eu tenho 10 anos, então desde que eu treino faz um bom tempo. Então, são anos e anos trabalhando para estar aqui. Então, não aconteceu muito rápido. É que algo que a gente faz há anos, as pessoas só estão vendo hoje. Então, o sucesso está sendo construído mais de uma década.
Well, thank you for those who consider me a future champion. I think that it's not, things didn't happen that quickly. I've been married for 10 years. Imagine the training comes from way before that. I've worked my entire life for that. So things on the outside, they may look like they happen fast, but this is the product of a lot of work that was put in for many years.
And just piggybacking off that, you still have only had a couple of UFC fights, but I know last year you wanted to step in and fight Movsar Ivoiev. Is that a fight you hope that happens down the line, you and him squaring off?
Eu sei que você já teve poucas lutas ao momento no UFC, mas já está vindo por aí. Você queria enfrentar o Movsar no momento? Você quer que essa luta não aconteceu? Você ainda quer pegar o Movsar?
Cara, como eu disse, esses 7 meses, na verdade, que eu fiquei parado, foi bom para eu poder entender como funciona a parte do business, a parte de negócio dentro dessa empresa, né? Então, hoje, a gente senta, conversa sobre todas as coisas para fazer o melhor investimento junto com o UFC. Então, se o Movsar se ele for um bom investimento para minha carreira, for ter um bom retorno não só financeiro, mas visando um futuro onde todos nós saímos bem disso, pode ser ele. Do contrário, a gente ainda vai ver uns outros nomes antes disso.
This time, these 7 months have helped me understand a lot of the business side of fighting and, the dollars and cents of it all. And I think now we sit down with the team and we look at all the possibilities and we really evaluate and assess what is worth for us. If that fight is viable for us, not only in a financial sense, but also looking with a vision towards my future, we'll make that fight happen. If not, we'll look at other names.
And just last question from me. There's some talk of featherweight champion Ilia Topuria moving up and fighting Islam Makhachev. Do you want to see that fight happen now, or would you rather see Ilia defend his title a few more times?
E a última pergunta dele, agora fala-se muito no Ilia subindo para os leves e saindo dos penas e basicamente indo para lá de uma vez por todas. Você gostaria de ver, isso é uma coisa que você gosta de ver, você quer ver ele lutando contra o Islam Makhachev, ou você acha que seria interessante ele continuar defendendo o título dele nos penas?
É muito boa a sua pergunta. Eu tenho uma visão diferente sobre isso, né? Sobre subir de categoria, descer de categoria após se tornar o campeão. Eu acho que nós brasileiros temos um ditado, cada macaco no seu galho. Então, na minha visão, em relação à carreira dele, ele deveria continuar no peso-pena, onde ele vem fazendo um bom trabalho. Como fã de MMA, do UFC, quero ver essa luta. Eu acho que é uma luta que encanta os olhos de todos fãs, né? Mas em relação à carreira dele, eu preferi que ele ficasse nos peso-pena, onde ele teve muito sucesso, continua fazendo um bom trabalho, corre menos perigo também, tem essa questão, porque se ele subir, perder, será que ele consegue voltar para os pena fácil? Ou o Hunter, Sean Shelby, Mick, Dana, vamos falar, não é bem assim para voltar. Então, é isso.
I know there's a lot of talk about this, and they've talked about moving up and, people moving between divisions, but there's something that it kind of goes back to, I have a different view on things, and it goes back to a Brazilian saying that pretty much translates into stay in your lane. You stay where you are. I understand that every fan in the UFC would love that. Would be a great fight. I'd love to watch that fight between Ilia and Islam. But this is where he made his name. At featherweight, that's his home. That's where there's a journey there, and I would hope for him to stay in that. And also, what happens if let's say he doesn't succeed up there? So how easy for him to actually just sit down and then you talk about Dana, Hunter, Mick, and Sean Shelby, like, okay, easy boy. Like, is it going to be that easy for him to come back to featherweight if he does? So I think he should stay.
John, what was the recovery process with 2 broken hands?
E o processo de recuperação com as 2 mãos quebradas?
Cara, foi um trabalho árduo para recuperar a mão, né? Foram horas e horas de fisioterapia. A vontade de treinar, de querer lutar é muito grande, mas me fez respeitar esse processo de recuperação. Com tudo isso, eu posso te falar que ela está pronta para bater na cabeça do meu Sik Bagdasaryan.
It was a lot of hard work and very painful to not be able to do things, but it taught me a lot of patience. and not doing things before I should, and in order to put things together for a fight like this. But you know what? I can tell you one thing: they are 100% recovered, and they're ready to hit Milsic's hand.
Could you like play video games with your hands?
Você conseguia jogar videogame com essa mão? Conseguia jogar videogame?
Bom, conseguia sim, conseguia. Confesso que era um pouquinho difícil ali, né, por causa que eu não sou tão bom no videogame. Então, mas conseguia jogar sim.
It was yeah, I could. Hard a little bit because listen, I'm not that good at video games, but I could at least.
And then finally, for me, could you just talk about the success of Fighting Nerds and just how much your teammates, like how good your teammates are doing, and how you look to continue that this weekend?
E pouco o sucesso da Fight Nerds. Como é que é estar na equipe, o sucesso de todos na equipe, o sucesso de vários dos teus colegas, como é que é o clima na Fight Nerds?
Cara, o sucesso da Fight Nerds é legal, que é uma soma, né? É uma soma de várias pessoas dentro de uma empresa querendo ver essa empresa crescer e ser grande, né? Poxa, somos a melhor equipe do mundo, literalmente, né? A gente ganhou essa parada, esse prêmio. E fazer parte disso é saber que a gente faz parte de algo muito grande, de um grande feito. Imagina, você faz parte de algo que ninguém fez ainda. Em relação ao Brasil, somos a primeira equipe a ganhar esse prêmio. Então, pô, faz parte disso. Então, é incrível fazer parte dessa parada com esses caras.
You know, Fighting Nerds, the cool thing about it is like, it adds up. That's what it is. Everybody just coming in, it has something to contribute. And it adds up to being now what is literally the best team in the world. We literally won an award, and it's an amazing to be a part of this, and actually to win an award that is the first Brazilian team to ever win something like this. So the journey's been amazing to be with everybody. It's pretty amazing to be a part of all this.
Jean over here. Jean, I want to know if you could expand on that. When you have those conversations with your teammates, Caio and the rest, what do you guys talk about? Because it's such a special moment, not just as a team, but in your lives, I'm sure.
Quando vocês têm conversa, só para você expandir um pouco o conceito de estar com eles e como é que é estar lá. Quando você tem conversas com a equipe, com os outros lutadores, com todo mundo que está junto, como é que é a conversa com o Caio Borralho, com a conversa com o pessoal sobre o que está acontecendo e os próximos planos de si?
Bem legal essa pergunta. O Caio ali, ele é o gabarito da prova, né? Então, não é muito segredo que nós conversamos entre nós e buscamos conselhos de quem está onde vamos estar. Então, o Caio é meu gabarito da prova. Mas conversamos muito sobre como funciona dentro do UFC, como que a gente faz para não ser valorizado, porque não tem como você mensurar o valor de alguém. Mas quando você está dentro de alguma empresa que você recebe para fazer algo, o seu cachê vai depender da decisão de outra pessoa. Então a gente conversa muito sobre negócios, né? Como que a gente vai fazer um bom investimento dentro dessa empresa aqui.
You know, it's no secret that Caio's kind of like the king to the kingdom, the key to the kingdom here. Like he's the one that you know, he's the path to victory, and he's the person that we go to for guidance. But we talk a lot about business. We're on this business almost like a company is trying to succeed. So it's not about conversations about someone's worth, because it's very hard to put, you know, price on people, and it's more like a value and what the decisions go into, and what things you do to make those decisions to make more from this company, and for your decisions will lead to being paid more in this company. So we talk a lot about business, actually, with Kyle. What's our next step?
We can see the team looks fantastic. You have the new partnership with Venom. What do you think it is that the fans just gravitate so much to with the Fighting Nerds? Why do you think you guys are so popular with the fans right now?
E chegou todo mundo bem vestido, nova parceria com a Venom direto. Então, Qual é o segredo? Como é que é você ter tudo isso, uma marca? Como é que é estar na equipe nesse sentido?
Vocês viram? Caraca, a Venom aí tá com a gente. Cara, eu acho que é aquilo que eu falei, é uma soma de várias ideias compartilhada entre um grupo para que essas ideias não atrapalhem, né? Porque às vezes a minha ideia não é tão boa quanto a do próximo, ou talvez é muito boa que irá nos atrapalhar. Então, poxa, o Pablo ali e o Caio que idealizaram, né, essa parte da Fight Nerds e abriram porta para os outros atletas fazer parte disso. Então, temos várias ideias, são colocadas em pauta, são discutidas e são apresentados modelos de como seriam essas ideias. E tá aí, uma delas já está sendo colocado em prática.
I mean, hey man, Ben is with us now. This is interesting because we're talking about fighters as a group of ideas that are shared amongst people that, the same values, and it's with a shared vision. We sit down and we talk, and sometimes an idea is very important for us to talk so that the ideas don't conflict with each other and they are there to help the team. So sometimes an idea is not as good as, one of my ideas is not as good as the rest of the team, and obviously we discussed that, and also sometimes it's too good for its own good, so sometimes it gets into the way of the team. So basically, we have this shared vision now of sitting down and talking and understanding together a shared value that was idealized initially by Pablo and Ivan. Like they put this together as an idea of shared values, and there it is. This is an idea that was idealized and envisioned, and here we are. We have one of them has been put into practice, as you can see.
Final question. The team is obviously known for the fake glasses. Which member of the team would you say has the worst eyesight? Who actually needs real glasses the most?
Vocês são conhecidos, a última pergunta dele, vocês são conhecidos pelos óculos. Da equipe toda, quem que é o mais míope mesmo que precisa de óculos?
Bom, não precisa ser a última pergunta, não. Eu amo estar aqui, isso que faz parte do meu sonho. Pode continuar fazendo as perguntas. Cara, por incrível que pareça, é um moleque que ainda não está no UFC, mas vão ver ele em breve, que é o Ícaro Brito. Esse é o mais míope mesmo.
Como é que é o nome dele?
Ícaro Brito.
Ícaro Brito. Ah, tá, já falei. Actually, it doesn't have to be your last question. This is my dream come true. I love being here, so you can ask more questions. Actually, you have not seen him yet. His name is Ícaro Brito. He's an up-and-comer, and that boy can't see from afar.
In Denver, you kind of blacked out on your celebration in the ring. Have you watched it, and what did you think?
Em Denver, você deu uma apagada na hora da comemoração dentro do octógono. Como é que você já olhou, já viu a tua celebração? Já viu você comemorando? Na hora, você se viu comemorando? Você viu a fita?
Ai, boa, muito boa. Bom, a galera acho que estão começando a acreditar em dupla personalidade, né? Eu também fico de cara com essas coisas. Confesso que eu vejo até hoje. Uma hora o cara tá ali lambendo um sangue, em questão de milésimos segundos ele vira pro lado e tá chorando. Então, eu acho que é a conexão, né? É o estado mental melhor do mundo, que é a vibração junto com a felicidade. Então, é difícil controlar isso.
It's a great question. Like I think people are starting to believe in kind of, a couple of different personalities there, because one moment you're basically just licking blood, and the other times like you're just crying. I think it's a combination of like the celebration and the joy of victory. I think that's the best state of mind you can be in the world. So that's what happened.
Even before the fight with Drew in Denver and the blackout in the cage, you were almost at a loss for words that week in terms of just how grateful you were for the opportunities. Can you explain just what this means to you to be sitting on this stage in a Fighting Nerds jacket that says Team Lord, all this expectation about your career going forward?
Até mesmo antes do que aconteceu em Denver, depois da luta, durante a semana você expressou muita gratidão pela oportunidade que você estava tendo, por tudo que tinha acontecido na tua vida e por tudo que tem acontecido ao longo do tempo e a oportunidade que você estava de estar lá naquele momento, no presente, naquele momento. Como é que você estar aqui hoje e todo mundo por trás de você, todo mundo te apoiando e todo mundo com uma jaqueta que diz Team Lord? Ou seja, todo mundo está te bancando.
Desculpa. Eu sou um pouco intenso, né, na verdade, nas coisas. Sabe, tipo, pô, eu amo estar aqui, cara. Eu amo cada segundo dessa parada, eu amo cada cara que tá aqui, cada amizade que eu venho fazendo. E ver que eu tô no maior evento do mundo, com a galera com uma roupa vestida com meu nome. Hoje eu vejo que sonhar não é nada quando você pode realizar. Então, cara, como eu disse, eu tô muito feliz de estar aqui, saca? Tô feliz de estar na frente de vocês e ver isso, ver minha esposa do meu lado. Tô feliz, irmão. Tô muito feliz.
You seem very intense about things. And what I feel when all of this happens is just to be here in the greatest event in the world, living a dream, is that the dream is nothing if you don't compared to doing it, to being here, to see everyone wearing this jacket, and to see everyone behind me, see my wife right here, like it says Team Lord. I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very happy to be in the greatest event in the world. I'm living a dream, and it's amazing.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Rob Font, how's it going?
Man, James, how you doing?
Let's start first with the hair. What's up with this?
Took it off,
new
bro.
look.
Just
New Rob
took it
Font?
off. New look. Trying to turn into a different fighter, new character, But nah, like me and my fiance have been talking about it for a couple, and then we chose the wrong city to do it in. Like, it was in Montreal and it was freezing, but like I just took it off, and it's been so much easier than having the hair and all that. But
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind as well for you to get to this fight in terms of your opponent. Obviously, supposed to fight Dominic Cruz, and I know they were trying to find you an opponent. Take me through how you settled on Gene Masimoto, how this fight all came to fruition.
yeah, I hope I didn't jinx myself. Like the moment I got the Cruz fight, I was like, all right, cool. Like I knew about it. We had an idea that they were going to get offered Cruz, and then the moment I got the contract, I was like, all right, I just hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't get injured. I hope he makes it through a camp, and then. Obviously, he gets injured. He retires, which, obviously I'm happy for him. I'm excited to see what he does next. But, it sucked. I didn't get to fight, another legend, a veteran in the sport, a guy I kind of grew up watching. When I first got into MMA, I was watching more WEC. And, obviously he was one of the main guys out there. So it definitely sucked that I'm not able to fight him. But, it is what it is, like it's these injuries happen so often that I kind of had an idea that there's a good chance he wasn't making it to the fight.
Was it difficult finding an opponent? Were there other names out there? Like take me through that, how you ended up with
So they initially offered Rosas Jr.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Rosas. Okay.
Yep, they offered him, and I'm not sure what happened. We said, yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but the fight didn't happen, and then Chris Gutierrez threw his name into the mix. I don't think the UFC liked that idea at first, but they were like, let's throw Matsumoto at him, and then we accepted. Obviously, we sat down and watched his tape and all that, and figured out like, hey, this is a dangerous guy, but it's a good matchup. Like if you look at like who, obviously his style is completely different from Cruz, but. It's gonna be a fun fight. He's straightforward. He's throwing big right hands, big left hooks, and a lot of head kicks. And obviously he's looking for takedowns as well. So a little more straightforward than what Cruz would be doing. Obviously he'd be moving a lot, and I believe Cruz probably would have had better timing on his takedowns than him. So I like the matchup. But then again, in the UFC, like all these matchups are tough. But if I had to choose, it'd have been him over the rest of the other monsters out there.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. And then I believe second camp at TriStar right ahead of this one. How was that? Obviously, Calvin had his fight. He was there with you.
Yep.
Who did you get to work with, and how did camp go? And how long were you there too, by the way?
So I believe it was altogether 5 weeks. Camp went great. We were there nonstop every day, twice a day. It's a one-stop shop, from conditioning to pad work to jiu-jitsu to wrestling, all that. And it went great. Eamon helped out a lot. He was one of my main sparring partners. Obviously, Rob Rivas is always holding pads for me. So I've been working with him since the first day I got there. And then just following Faraz's lead and the way he breaks things down, and just the way he the way he leads is inspiring. So just obviously camp went great. Just unfortunately had a little last hiccup at the last minute.
Hey, Rob, let's go to a quick one for you. Obviously, you were in Calvin's corner Saturday. What do you think of the performance in the fight?
I think just a funky fight. Zalal had a funky rhythm. Took a while for Calvin to kind of catch up, and I think we just started a little too late.
Obviously, Calvin's on a losing streak right now, but I mean, you've been with him for several years, man. And I guess as a friend, as a training partner, as a teammate, like, what do you think he needs to turn his career around?
Yeah, man, I just starting a little quicker. That's all it is. If once Calvin starts a little quicker, he's taking out everybody, and I really believe that. If that Calvin that showed up in the third round shows up in the first round, that fight is just completely different. That's all it is, really. Just pulling the trigger a little quicker, and you'll see he's gonna start getting these finishes again.
So then I just want to ask you, like, obviously you picked up a win in your last fight, but before that, I'm sure you had seen all the fans talking shit and saying like, oh, Font's done, Font's washed, blah, blah, blah. And then you go out there, you get a big win. They're like, oh, he's back. He's better than ever. Like, the fans can be very pickety and wish-washy. Just, I guess, did that bug you at all?
No, that's their job. They're supposed to be up and down, and it is what it is. That's what they do. It's you can tell like the true martial artists or true fans, and then you can tell the guys that are just there, just well, I'm hoping their bet hits, you know, like. So I don't take offense to that. That's what happens when you do what we do. You know, it's happens in all sports. It's a lot easier to happen in obviously in our sport, and but that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. You know, it's just, you know, like, I don't know if the fans like persuaded the odds makers in my last one, but I believe I made a lot of people some money that night.
Awesome, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're known for your jab. A lot of people have said you have one of the best jabs in the UFC. Is that jab-heavy approach something you're going to bring into this fight and just keep as a core part of your game going forward?
100%. You know, it's going to be a lot of lead hand, lead uppercuts, lead hooks from both sides, and just keeping them at bay until I find my openings and going. You know, he's aggressive. He's going to come forward, and I just believe that I for the most part, I feel like I can touch him when I want to touch him. You know, easier said than done, but I do believe I can touch him when I want to touch him.
And what do you make of the bantamweight division right now? You got Merab at the top. You just beat Umar. You got O'Malley kind of hanging around up there. You're clearly up there with the best. Like, what's your outlook?
Man, you know, man, this division is the toughest division out there. It's the most exciting division. There's so many studs in this division. I'm just interested to see how this all shakes out. I figured, you know, fighting a guy like Cruz would have helped me get back into that mix a little earlier, or a little sooner. But you know, it is what it is. You know, I obviously there's a lot of risks to fighting Matsumoto in this fight, and it probably won't do much for me as far as like move me up when I win, but. You know, I'm just here to fight. I'm here to challenge myself, and I think this fight alone is gonna bring a lot out of me.
Excited to watch.
Thank you. Boom. Let's do this. Thank you.
Henry, another fight. It's been an interesting card, right? The Dominic Cruz connection seemed right there for you, but in the end, that's not a thing, and it's Song Yadong you have to focus on entirely. How are you feeling about this fight, and how was the camp and the preparation?
I feel good. Originally I thought it was going to be me and Dominic. It's unfortunate that he got hurt, and I'm glad it wasn't him because, fuck, I would have been pissed. But obviously we have Song, who is a... Obviously we have Song, who is a 27-year-old... Yeah, can you grab her mom, dude? Okay. No, let her mom, dude. She's going to start crying, dude. She misses her dad. I haven't played with her this whole damn time cutting away. Hold on. My wife will come back. Come here so I can give you guys the right answers, dude. Anybody have kids here? Yeah. How old? What's the age?
3 and 7.
Oh, no way. Okay. Yeah, she's 3.
Yeah, it's a great age. 3s. You start to see the personality.
Yeah, but they say terrible 2s, man. But it's true.
It's terrible 3s too.
Yeah.
On your hand.
Let's just wait for my wife, if that's okay, guys. Sorry about that, dude. I shouldn't have brought her up. Maybe can you let me do the interview? Come on, Mike.
Beautiful. All right, so take 2.
Anyways, that's parenting. That's parenting at your finest.
So Song Yadong, your thoughts on the fight and fighting a young up-and-comer?
Yeah. He's, I'm 11 years his elder. He's an explosive fighter, really good at countering. He's a guy that could shut your lights off with one punch. But I think the same reason why his greatest gift is also his worst enemy too. That gas he could completely go straight to E. So I love the fact that they're giving me a younger fighter. I love the fact that my back is against the wall. There's a chip on my shoulder. I love the fact that I'm an underdog because these are the moments where I shine, and I appreciate all of it.
So that's what I wanted to talk to you about, right? Like your career, it would be easy for people to think like, okay, Henry's got a couple of fun fights left, and that's what he's going to focus on, like the Dominic Cruzes of the world and stuff. But here you are fighting a guy who's working his way up the rankings and building his career. Should that show us that you're still hungry to compete at the top level and you're still after more accolades rather than just having fun?
Right, of course, and I love that from the UFC. I love the fact that they're doing that. They're not just doing this legend versus legend shit. Like, you know what, I thought about it too, and I got into it with Hunter Campbell. Pretty bad. This was about a year, but then I called him back. Like, you know what? You're right. If I want to be the best in the world again, give me who you got. Give me your biggest dog then. And they originally wanted me to fight Song at the Sphere, but at that time I had an injury. So then when I called him back, I was helping President Trump a lot with this with the politics. Traveling to Michigan, doing a bunch of work in Arizona. That stuff's important to me. And I says, after the president gets elected, like, let me, I'll call you the next day. And that's exactly what happened. Like, once everything happened, once the election was pretty much over, I'm like, all right, dude, give me Song. I want him.
So should you beat Song on Saturday, do you think that pushes you right back up into title contention? Obviously, you had the fight with Merab, and I think you looked really good in the first round. Then he sort of started to get his success. Do you think it pushes you back into title contention, or do you think you're going to have to work your way up and pass a few more of these young killers before they start looking at you in gold again?
At this point, it's whatever the UFC wants, but that's also what's cool about the UFC. I lost to Aljamain in a split decision. Then at least I won a round against Merab, dude, with the torn groin, where I couldn't wrestle for 5 weeks, and that was a big mistake on my side. Ali, my mentor, they're telling me, everybody was telling me, dude, just be ready. But the hard head in me, I wanted to prove that it was a fight. Sometimes the risk worth the reward. And then now I look at Merab and what he's doing. I'm just like, fuck, man, this dude's a real deal. He's the best in the world. I mean, and not super. You know, I'm not surprised what he did to O'Malley, but where I am surprised is what he was able to do to Umar, man. You know, he did. It's not like he beat him up or he did all that. He out-competed him. He got the crowd involved. He conveyed to the judges that round 5 is mine. You know what I'm saying? It's that grittiness that only like the 1%ers know about. You know, it's the same reason why I got the victory against Demetrius Johnson. There's like an acting involved in there. You know, getting him to go backwards. You know, hitting my fist, calling him out as he's going backwards. You know, we forget as fighters that if the fight does go to decision, you know, who can sway the judges, who can sway the crowd. And you know, what Merab's been able to do now is just kudos, man. You gotta tip your hat off.
So that's something that just comes with experience, you think, like younger guys?
Yeah, I think he went through his bumps and bruises, and I think confidence a little bit there, and then time, his ability of mixing his fighting, you know, from wrestling to striking. Like the wrestling is not the key for him. It's the mixing. It's him understanding his threshold for 5 rounds. You know what I'm saying? This is why you don't see knockouts or TKOs, because he knows just the exact amount to reserve that. And that's Merab's greatest gift, his threshold.
Henry, I know that you were kind of teasing flyweight, bantamweight. Why did you eventually pick bantamweight to, I guess, continue fighting in?
Oh, man, I got to cut the weight. I think it's pretty, you know. But there is a potential thing that I could be going back down. You know, with the victory here, I don't think there's anybody at flyweight that could really sell the division. I think there's too many dry people at that weight division. And I feel like what I've done in combat sports, particularly the flyweights, is saving that division back in 2020. You know, there could be a resurrection there, you know.
How bad of a cut would that be?
I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it, dude. It's like I'm short, but man, look at like my back, man. Look at like my body's just I'm thick, but I'm thick boned, dude.
Obviously,
but it would definitely be a process, and you know, first things first, dude. Get through song, get through the dong, and do it that way.
Is that his nickname for this week?
Yeah, but the dong ain't long like Triple C. That's all I gotta say.
Obviously, Dominic Cruz pulled out and then eventually retired. And I just wanted to know, you know, you guys had your rivalry and you guys have kind of spit back and forth. But can you just talk about Dominic Cruz choosing to retire and then just his career overall?
Yeah, I mean that's his decision. He may go back and be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I want my last dance to be done correctly. You know. I don't think he really made those adjustments as a fighter to really understand his body more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna give you guys an example. Khabib did a really good job of going through injuries and then adapting and then adjusting. How's it that he could get better? You know, a lot of fighters have gone through that, but I don't feel like Dominic really or ever found it. You know, whether it was rest, nutrition, overtraining, undertraining, whatever that may be. But other than that, dude, he brought a lot of attention to the lower weight classes. You know, his fight with Uriah Faber, his fight with Cody, his fight with all the alpha males. I mean, that's what really put, you know, the lightweights on the map. And then obviously my rivalry and his, you know, it's probably still not even over, dude. He probably still hates my guts as much as I hate his, you know. But I guess the only thing I can say is I'm glad I ain't fight him, because this would have really sucked, dude. And congratulations to him that he just retired.
And finally, one for me. I just wanted to know, like, over the decades, like, high-level wrestlers, for some reason, they always get injured, and like their UFC careers are kind of cut short just because they're dealing with injuries. For the most part, you've been healthy through your UFC journey, and you wrestled at the highest level, won a gold medal. How were you able to like escape all the injuries?
Honestly, I stretched a lot, man, since the beginning, since I was a kid. And I think that's what saved me from a lot of injuries. I've always been somebody that, as hard as I trained, I recovered quite a bit. And a lot of the injuries was just wear and tear, dude. Like, I remember blowing my shoulder out with Marias in that first round, and that was just from throwing so many jabs. from the time I started fighting, so many shots, you know. But I think the biggest thing is I've always took recovery to a point where people were like, really, you gonna take 2 days off? Like, yeah, man, I did enough. Like, my body needs to rest, and I got to re-attack it and then re-break it again, even when I was training for the Olympics. I'll let you guys in on one little thing, because I like your question. Even as a high schooler, I would work out so much, like during those 5 days, that typically when the coach would say, hey, man, you guys do something on Saturday, I would take, and this was literally I was in high school, I would take Saturday and Sunday off, because I knew everything that I did throughout the week was just enough and just right, and for me to feel ready to re-break my body again on Monday. Crazy, right? Just, you know, having that belief and really recovering my body.
Henry, right here. Henry, I saw you just had the partnership with Full Violence. I like the Short King branding. I gotta say, what made you want to lean into it a bit? I think sometimes Short Kings don't embrace it as much. What was it like? You know what? We're rolling with it.
Just, you know, one, I'm a troll. So people are going to try to troll my height. You know, you go with it. You know, I'm not going to be a Danny DeVito. You motherfucker, you motherfucker. I'm not going to do that, dude. I've never been like that. I've always been comfortable with who I am. And I think there's a lot of money to be made because of the Short Kings. And I've made a lot of it because of it.
You've been working with a new producer on your content, Mr. Dylan Rush. Can you just talk about the contributions?
Dilly Rush? Yeah.
Talk about the contributions he's made to your team.
Oh, he's an encyclopedia, man. You talk about somebody that knows his stats of MMA. That's Dylan. You know, Dylan is you know, he's an up and comer. I feel like whenever the time is ready, you know, he's gonna become his own boss. And I think I've always been somebody to allow people to fly, dude. And if I can do anything to help anybody, you know, become bigger, then that's what it is. Even as a, you know, as a persona, as a troll. You know, it's like truly like the bad guys are really the good guys, man. We create storylines, and I think he's, you know, it's all up to Dylan, man. How far he wants to take it. I think he's, you know, he talked about maybe working for the UFC, but I told him like, Dylan, you're bigger than that. You could, you know, you don't need to necessarily be. I think you're at that level where you could be your own boss and create your own content because he's super creative.
He's got a great future ahead of him. Final question. You kind of.
And my next question is how much money did you give?
He's the homie. He's a friend discount right there. Henry, final question. You kind of have this friendly rivalry with Kayla Harrison, both two Olympians. She's on deck potentially to fight for the title. If she gets that UFC belt, are you okay sharing the Triple C moniker?
There's only one, and that's Triple C, man. I think, and all due respect to Kayla, she's great, man. She's one of the greatest combat. If she does win this belt, she can go down as, you know, top 5. But man, there's nothing like winning a gold medal in wrestling, and I'll say that to anybody's face. Boxing, judo, anything, man. Like the people that I respect more than anything in this world, that I fanboy over, and I've been around Mike Tyson, I've been around all these dudes. I do not fanboy more than anybody when I meet Olympic champions in wrestling, man. In freestyle wrestling. I'm just like, and Khabib and all these guys, they're the same damn way. There's a level of respect that you have for Olympic wrestlers, and particularly Olympic champions in wrestling, that nothing else really comes close, dude.
Thank you.
Henry, you mentioned kind of the resurrection of the flyweight division. I'm just curious how you thought Pantoja has done. Are you insinuating maybe you haven't been impressed with him? Just what are your thoughts on him as a champion?
No, I love Pantoja, and that's another thing too, man. I spend New Year's, like I'm super close to Pantoja. You know, he's a great fighter. But I think sometimes you can create storylines because everybody's kind of dry at flyweight. Like there's no tussle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no storylines because like when I became champion, like it was my responsibility. It was my responsibility when I talked to Dana, they were gonna get rid of the division. driving in his red Ferrari from the Apex. This is like, I think, Contender Series 1. I think Kevin Holland fought that in the Contender Series. And it was like, man, this is big mouth. Like, we were just talking about it. I remember driving back to him in a Ferrari, and he told me, in his Ferrari, he told me, he's like, hey, man, I just want to let you know that, you know, I'm going to grant you your decision, because after I beat Demetrius, I wanted to go up and become a double champ, because the whole storyline was Demetrius Johnson versus TJ Dillashaw. I'm like, no, I'm going to beat this dude. And I kept saying it during fight week. This is back in UFC 227. I said, I'm going to beat this dude, and I'm challenging the winner of Cody and TJ. So that's exactly what happened. So then when I was driving this car, I was like, hey, man, we're going to grant you, but we're going to get rid of the division. We're going to get rid of it, like, completely. I remember my heart just sunk, dude. I'm like, yeah, but we're going to grant you your opportunity. It just sunk. It just didn't feel right. So then I talked to Ali that day, and I'm just like, Ali, I don't feel right, dude. I don't feel right getting my shot, and then that's it. The flyweight division doesn't exist. Like, you erase all of Demetrius Johnson's accolades. You erase everybody who's ever done anything. And I said, let's bring him down. So TJ wanted to go down. He wanted to come down. I'm just like, no, let's give him what he wants. So beat him at 125, and then go up, and then go to 35, and then do it again. So happened to be he was on PEDs, which a lot of people say it's, you know, he was dehydrated. Dude, that dude was 150 when I fought him. He was bigger when we fought each other in New York than he was when he was weighing 135 pounds. You know, it was that secret juice, dude. You guys go back and look at the stats and look at how much he actually weighed. So then that's when the whole theatrics kind of came about. It's my job, it's my duty to save the division. And I love Demetrius, dude. He was so good that there was no storyline because there was no competition. But at the same time, he never really sold it. It was too much of, too much GSP without the accent. You know, so then I took it upon myself. I was like, you know what? I'm going to come out with this snake, slam it on the thing, come out with my gold medal, and just cause a bunch of fucking problems. And then that's how the King of Cringe kind of came about. Because then people started saying cringe, 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 cringe. I was like, what the hell is cringe? That was a new word to me back in 2019 or 2018. 2019, yeah. So then that's how it started. So to get back to Pantoja, I think it's his responsibility now to promote the weight division. And I mean it, and I tell him that as a brother. It's his job to sell the fight, dude. To pick it. Maybe he needs to become the bad guy.
It's kind of crazy in hindsight, too, Henry, to look at, the opponents you fought in Dominic Cruz, Aljamain Sterling, and Merab in particular. So I'm curious, man, like, how do you rank them in terms of most challenging to fight, and then how do you rank them in terms of legacy and greatness?
Yeah, they're all the top, maybe the top 3, according to numbers. And I'd probably, because of how Merab did me, and the fact that he's beaten all the old and the new generation, and I think for me right now, I'd probably put him up top. From Aldo to Jan to Umar, myself. I mean, you got to respect that. Yeah, they're not title defenses, but he was able to kind of take a back seat for his brother. And I think that says a lot about their relationship and the fact that he's taking out all comers.
Best of luck.
But in combat sports, dude, that put me number 1. You know what I'm saying? You got to, man. Who else would you guys put up there? Is an Olympic gold medal, what's that worth in comparison to any other combat sport? It's a lifetime dream. The 2 UFC titles, that's just icing on the cake.
Speaking of Demetrius Johnson, he's a Seattle area guy, or Tacoma, whatever, but have you spoken to him at all in the lead up to this Seattle card? Has he given you any words of wisdom, anything?
Yeah, he sent me a message, I think it was a couple weeks ago. We just chit-chatted. But no, other than 2 weeks ago, he just, hey, man, good luck, bro. I'll be cheering for you. So it's pretty cool that, rivals kind of become friends a little bit.
I'm sure he'll have a reaction video after the fight. He'll probably be going crazy for you.
Yeah.
As far as Song Yadong goes, do you think that standing and trading with him is a good path, or are you going to mix in that Olympic wrestling?
This is MMA. And I think one of the things that I do bring to the table is my ability to make adjustments. If I have to sit there and bang with them, let's go. I can go Mexican style too. Let's go. I've done it before. I've done it with Mariah's when I have to. One thing that I do know more than anybody is winning. Despite my last 2 losses, I know what it takes, and I know where I'm willing to take my body, and I know where I'm willing to go. And I think that's the difference in my experience of competition.
Thanks.
Anything else, Dylan? You have anything? Sean O'Malley? Sure, dude. After this fight, maybe we can do it, but I don't think he would want to, man. I think stylistically, it's gonna be a problem for him. Thank you. Hey, you guys, make sure to go to Full Violence and get the Short King shirt. I'm out.
Can we see the shirt again?
Thank you, guys.